Tonight on Murder We Spoke, we discuss
how women belong in the kitchen.
And how even though we didn't leave the United States on this episode, we still got a bukkake of bad accents. All of that and much, much more on Murder We Spoke.
Welcome back to Murder We Spoke. We are new converts to the cult of Angie Lands. On this podcast, we are venturing to watch and discuss only the best of the best episodes of the classic show, Murder, She Wrote. And we're doing it based solely on your recommendations. On the first Friday of each month, we choose an episode you've recommended and me to break it down and talk all things Angie Lands. I'm Marissa, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Ben.
Hi, Marissa.
Hi, Ben. You're ready for election special?
Election special, you guys. You
Murder,
tuned in. That's why you're here for our election year special. Because this is the only election we care about right now.
Honestly,
who's going to be the mayor of Cabot Cove?
Is it going to be Sam? Is it going to be Eve? Is it going to be Villain?
Is it going to be the guy who straight up looks like a movie villain?
Literally looks like if he was playing a live action, he'd be a toad. And we all know toads are bad characters.
Oh my god, you're exactly right. You draw, even if you draw him and don't intend to draw a toad,
no.
You're like, why did I draw a toad? I was trying to draw Melvin or whatever his name was.
Don't even remember his name. Villain.
And he had that thing where, and it can look good because like this political season, there's been plenty of good buttons where everything is all colorful in the background and then the candidate is in black and white.
Right.
But on his posters, it just emphasized how much he looked like a villain.
Absolutely. And
he had that super bright poster and then he was black and white in the middle. And it was just like, and he wasn't smiling.
No, and his chin is down. We all know pictures.
His chin? Did he have a chin?
Right. My apologies. His face was just down. When you take a picture, chin up. Chin up. You don't look down so your eyes are like, no.
This is pre-selfie. People didn't know how to take a good picture.
Oh my god.
Apparently,
I was listening to Pandora, and it was like this evening on CBS, selfie secrets. And they're like, if you do it at this angle, your hair, like the lighting, and you lose 10 pounds. I'm like, this is not real news. Are we really talking about selfies? If you want to take a selfie, trial and error, people.
Yeah.
Trial and error.
Oh, we're going to learn how to... There's not a presidential election in 5 days? No? Cool.
No.
All right.
Thank
awesome.
you. Okay.
Okay. All right, guys. Just so you know, the episode we're talking about tonight is Season 6, Episode 11, entitled Town Father. And it was... We actually went on to like Twitter or Facebook and stuff and like, hey guys, we want to watch like an election-y episode because the next episode comes out like
in the United States
4 days before.
Yeah, exactly.
In case you haven't heard, I know we have a lot of international listeners.
Right.
Hello.
I know.
Well, we had international listeners until roughly 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
But yeah, we're having a pretty. Bye.
Bye.
Toodaloo. I don't know who that was.
Cheers? Does that work for hello and goodbye? Like aloha?
Is it like aloha? International listeners, let us know.
Let us know.
If you're walking out the door and we say cheers, are you going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? We asked you guys, like, what's an election episode? Because there's one where Jessica gets appointed to Congress after some congressperson dies. Again,
okay, that also sounds amazing.
Again, like, and people were like, well, that episode's okay, but... How's that episode only
I know.
Okay? I'm like,
okay.
I don't believe you.
Like, I trust our listeners, but like, are you sure? Can you
JB in
listen
Congress?
one more time?
Are you a little jaded? It's like from it's like season 1 maybe, so it's like maybe you don't remember it.
Yeah,
it's super early, I think. I don't know.
We need to take one for the team and watch it, and like, you guys will probably be right, but I don't know.
We might have to. Maybe tonight.
Right, exactly.
Before bed, we'll watch that. So when I thought, I recommend that episode, I was like, is this, would someone recommend this episode? Because no one has yet. And then people are like, maybe not that one. But then people came out the woodwork to be like, but Town Father, the one where there's a mayoral election. That's the one to do.
Everything.
So, at Panther Fan Matt, a.k.a. the other Matt Drew. We've had 2 Matt Drews recommend. I think it was just, like Matt Drew recommended like 2 episodes ago, recommended the one.
Matt Drew.
Paige Everhart, Tom McNabb, a British correspondent.
Hi.
Nicole PB from Facebook, and Angela Lansbaby's mom herself, Steffi, all said, yes, Town Father, excellent, watch it. So
Steffi recommended it.
And they said that this episode completes the Loretta's Ladies trilogy, which, that alone.
Honestly. And like, they weren't wrong.
They weren't, oh my God, so
Not
great.
at all.
Where there's scandal in the mayor's office, and if you want to see a Slutty Eve episode, this is the episode to watch.
And I didn't think it could get worse, but it was not worse, because I'm all about slutting it up. It's like eating a lot of pizza. Go for it. Go for it.
We're not sluts.
Do it.
Eve. We're all about Eve on this podcast.
There's nothing wrong with having a lot of sex. In fact, I recommend it.
Highly recommend it. You don't want to be like poor Mayor Booth, who has to like admit to people that he's never been on a date.
Honestly, asexual or gay, because it's the 80s and he probably is not okay.
And he's in a tiny town in Maine.
Exactly. With a bunch of old people.
Yeah, he's 100% gay.
But it's fine. He rides a bike and waves.
He rides a little bike. He's the most powerful man in Cabot Cove. He'll be fine.
Right, exactly. But yeah, no slut shaming. But like Eve, it was like a lot of low key. Eve gets around, and we love it.
There was a whole lot of like innuendo. Like the Loretta's ladies were
on one.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They could like. Holland Taylor, her character's name was Winifred. The names on this episode also are fantastic.
And what was the other one? That Ebenezer.
Fucking Ebenezer.
Winifred and Ebenezer.
There was so many good, and I wrote on a couple more down. We'll get to it, but like literally, she walks in the door and is hanging up her coat, and the 3 ladies in the crew like heads together like 3 goddamn stooges, and like, oh, this one, her husband did this, and this is like, it's like
this is how much he pays for this.
Exactly, and then I love how Ideal Malloy, who might have the greatest name on the show. Yes. Ideal Malloy is the greatest name. She's like, and she's like, they pay $200 and they just use the house for the weekend. And she's like, $200 for a weekend sounds about right. And they're like, okay, like what is why are they writing it? And they're like, no, that's reasonable. Why are we talking? Like, why are we whispering about this? This is a perfectly reasonable thing to do.
Exactly. Also, when I was watching it, I was like. I was like confused. I was like, are they talking about buying it? And I was like, okay, $280,000. Okay, I'm trying to do the math into 80s terms, and then they're like, oh, $208 for a weekend. Like, okay, to rent a full house, Airbnb.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like.
That's the thing, and they're like rich people, and they have like, did you see their house?
And it's on the coast in Maine.
Yeah. So even when you factor in inflation, like still a bargain. A bargain.
Also, real quick. Just before I forget, can we talk about how one of Loretta's ladies said the best clam chowder in all of Maine is in some, like, Motel 6?
And that's why she was there?
Yeah. Honestly,
Ideal Malloy.
Can you imagine getting, like, a good, like, in all of Maine?
And she was, I think she even said, all of the shore.
Oh. Honey,
the shore.
No.
That's a big shore. Honey, that is a big shore. So,
okay.
I'm going to call shenanigans Ideal. I don't know what you were doing there.
I don't know
but
either.
I don't know what you were eating, but at one clam chowder. You know
what I'm saying?
It
clam, but
it
not
might have been
chowder.
clamming.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
Okay, we just accused Ideal of
being a lesbian?
Getting that D? No?
Oh, okay. Either way. She was getting some.
She was in a hotel getting some.
Yeah,
and that's,
exactly. We're fine with it.
Yeah. Let's see. We got a tweet from Ross at Are You Bad Enough? It's a great Twitter handle. He asked, because I sent out a tweet like, hey guys, if you have any like comments or anything about this episode before we record. And he asks, what do you think Cabot Cove's extremely low voter turnout rate says about the town? Which is a great question. I
love that he posed the question.
I love that too. And I've been thinking about it legitimately. Okay. And I'm like, maybe I'm just because I've been paying too much attention to this election. I'm like, it's about a bunch of self-entitled white people who don't think it's important enough to turn out and vote.
Honestly, that's what I was about to say, but you said it first, so Ben's a bad guy, guys.
Maybe I'm extrapolating Cabot Cove out to our current election.
If you looked at statistics, that would be accurate. So you're doing math, Ben.
Yeah. Because even Seth, even our beloved Seth is like, I might vote this year.
No, he didn't even say for the first time. He said for the first time.
Seth.
Which means he's like, elections don't affect me. Everything will remain the same.
Exactly.
I have everything I already need. Why would I need to vote?
Like, it's not going to affect me. And then, like, and again, it's the same thing. Like, I grew up in a small town, so the people who are petrified of the big city folks coming in, God, that is so real. That is so real. And
That's amazing. I've never experienced that, and I've only been able, because of how young I am, been able to vote in one presidential election. But I'm still voting. Like, I'll vote whenever I can. I just couldn't, so I was, like, volunteering and shit.
But yeah, these...
And I'm white, so...
Yeah. These fucking white people are just like...
White people are honestly the worst. I'm white, guys. Ben's white. And white people are the worst.
They're like, hey, we're a bunch of straight white people living in Maine. We're fine.
Okay. We're old.
We're cool.
We got Social Security.
I don't care who's in there. Not gonna affect me. It's fine.
Bye. There's not one person of color in Cabot Cove.
No.
We haven't seen one, have we?
I feel like in this episode, in the house... At the party, wasn't there... At the party, wasn't... Didn't they run
wasn't
into...
there like a pseudo like Indian guy in one of the episodes who like wasn't actually an Indian, but like he had like a braid and stuff?
That woman Corinne on this episode was wearing a bunch of Navajo like beads and shit.
The Aryan woman? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, she was wearing it. So it's just a bunch of cultural appropriation, but it was in the 80s, so that didn't really exist back then.
She shouldn't have been wearing that. That was ridiculous.
No,
what she was wearing
too
was
much. Murder
horrific.
She Wore. If you're listening, comment on that.
Speaking of Murder She Wore, she commented as well. And she said, so many wild fashion moments in that episode. Where are these women shopping? Because you want to buy their outfit. Like, Eve's outfit that she wore to that party.
Yeah.
That was like, I mean... Even now, like, that drew my eye, and I was like, what is happening? This is great. In the 80s, that must have been, like, killing it. Like, that must have been the envy of everybody.
It was honestly, like, we know Eve. Eve's great. She's beautiful. She walked in, and I was like, turned my head even more to the TV. I'm like, Eve,
exactly.
Honey,
like, yeah, when she, like, took off her jacket, we're like, oh, Eve is killing it.
She came ready.
She's ready to slay, and she's going to get it done. Murder She Wore goes on to say, JB wears a Lands' End sweater in the opening, which makes total sense since it's a Maine brand.
You mean the sweater I want to buy?
I wanted to buy Seth's sweater. Was even like that one. I don't know, with like the little wooden knobby thing instead of a
sweater
button,
with wooden.
It's got like that little long wooden piece instead of a button. It's got that thing that you can twist to get the. Again, like it's one button that doesn't go all the way, so it doesn't matter anyway. It just looks cool.
Yeah.
Like, I want Seth's sweater. It was fantastic.
Yeah, just because it reminded me of, like, an old Patagonia jacket I had. But it was so cute, and it looked so comfy.
And the scarf that she was... I mean, her scarf game is always...
she's always
It goes without saying at this point. Her scarf
really
game is fantastic. And last thing she says is, also, why does Seth even bother with the sweatband?
Yeah, or workout clothes in general, because he's speed walking.
Is he walking? At the end of the episode when they're like walking to Loretta's car to talk to her, and
first of all, he's in the same outfit as he was wearing in the beginning, and I was like, come on.
He's got one workout outfit. He's got just the one. He probably washes it once a month because he doesn't sweat in it. He doesn't sweat in it.
No.
But he was just like shaking. He was like having like a full body. It was like a shimmy. Like it wasn't even.
Also, it was kind of weird because they were going out working out and Jessica was wearing jeans, a belt, a tucked-in shirt, and a sweater, and he was wearing workout clothes. When we've seen her in, like, full workout outfit, but maybe that was just a walk for her?
Exactly, because you know what happened? She woke up early, she went on her, like, 5-mile jog, and then this doofus comes over and he's like, let's run 1.25 miles. And she's like, I'm just going to wear jeans.
But the accent's so good.
I'll go with you, honey.
Yeah, okay.
It'll be a slightly brisk walk for me.
If
but
anything,
for you, it's a jog.
It'll be my cool down for the.
That's basically what. Like she went home, she showered, she put on her clothes for the day,
and then did everything else.
Did her makeup and her hair, and then he came over and was like, "Let's go for a workout." She's like, "Yeah, again,
Seth, you're my friend. I love you, so
yeah,
I'll
what you call a workout, yeah, I'll do in my hair and makeup. Cool.
Too much.
No problem. Let's see. Yeah, 1.25 miles, and then I like that. When the woman who Annie Mae, the hussy, when she got off the redhead, of course there's a fire redhead. She's she's either the killer or she's a villain who ends up getting killed,
or she's the red herring,
or she's the red herring. The redhead, like, no redhead is just, like, there.
No.
They always have a very significant role.
Yeah.
But I like how when she gets off the bus, they're playing, like, the hussy music, like that. And the dudes, when she gets off the bus, are, like, whistling at her. Even though she's wearing a dress down past her knee, she's wearing big fluff. Like, she's not even showing her shoulders.
No.
Not even her shoulders. It's, like, slightly tight in the midsection. But that is literally all. And people are like, whoa, who's this new street walking hoe that just walked into town? I'm like, what is happening?
Literally, Ben, though, at first I was like, yeah, that's ridiculous. And thinking about it, I was like, no, I've been whistled at when I'm wearing a long sleeve, a full, not that it matters anyways, but a full pants, everything, nothing of me is showing. But it's like, okay, yeah, let's catcall because, you know, one day, years from now, I'm going to be like, oh, how did Grandma and Grandpa meet? It's like, oh, your grandfather was fucking yelling at me outside of a moving vehicle. And I thought, what a charmer. Let me fucking pull over and talk to him.
That's the guy for me.
Yeah, no. So, nothing's changed since the 80s.
Gross. Humans are the worst.
The worst. White dudes, especially.
Just like, oh yeah, and they were fucking white dudes.
And it's Cabot Cove.
You guys we're extrapolating out like this election.
I know.
And fucking white men are about to ruin it for everybody.
Honestly, but it's election special, so.
So if you didn't want the hard-hitting politics.
You don't want, dude, we're liberals from LA. I'm the liberal. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Get out.
I've talked about it before. I've left some breadcrumbs for you to know how I feel about
some
things.
Some very subtle breadcrumbs.
Some gluten-free breadcrumbs along the way. Now you know. Come on.
Some G-free. Some G-free breadcrumbs. And we see the Sam Booth putting up his super generic re-elect Mayor Booth things. Like, just
black and white.
Because he's got nothing better to do.
It's like an ASB when you're in high school. Come on.
And then Monty, I can't remember his name.
Toadface.
Toadface. And then Toadface comes behind him and has these like elaborate, colorful things and puts those over it.
Seth refers to as 5-color print. I'm like, are we really talking about him? Like, is that a thing?
He's literally like, how can you afford 5-color print posters? Like, based on how tiny Cabot Cove is, what did he put up? 4 of them?
Right.
You can't afford 4 posters, Seth? That's your qualm?
That's how they found out he was getting outside money.
Because he bought 5 posters.
With color.
Yeah. Although he also did hand out the potholders, which I thought was sexist as hell. But it was genius.
I mean, okay.
You won't get burnt.
He's also going to be sexist. Can he be sexist against you? Yeah, you can.
Oh, totally.
So.
I mean.
Yeah.
Let's not name names, but there's.
Yeah.
Think about it. Who comes into your head? Yes, her.
Right,
You're right.
Exactly. 100%.
Okay.
Potholders.
With Toadface, you won't get burnt. I want to run for some sort of office so I can put that on a potholder.
Honestly,
I think it's genius.
If it was someone who was running who made those, I'd be like, okay, love it.
But you just go on, like, if you do that, go on a show, like, you know, one of those morning cooking shows on the Food Network where there's, like, half men, half women,
exactly.
And everybody gets one, so it's not super sexist.
Right.
If you're not handing it out
you're not going
exclusively
to,
to women.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you went on The View and handed it, like, and you gave one of those to Whoopi Goldberg, you're an asshole.
No, but if you go on even, like, Jimmy Fallon or Ellen even.
Yeah. If you go on The Chew, is that what it's... I think that's what it's called, where you have Mario Batali, you have that girl, the frizzy-headed girl from Caroline, what's her name? From Top Chef, who's fantastically funny.
Right. I don't watch anything competition-wise, so I don't know. But...
She was on Top Chef, and she's got big eyes, a big expressive face. She's so wonderful, and I can't remember her name. Toad's, she's definitely a Toad's daughter. But you got, like, if you handed it out to them, that's great.
It'd be fine, yeah.
That's great.
Wrong setting, wrong time. Mm-hmm. But still funny as fuck.
Still funny. But on his poster it said, "The future is now." And Seth is like, "Oh, what does that even mean?" The future is then. The present is now. Seth, like, you cannot tell me, Seth, that you're 1,000 years old and you've never heard the phrase, "The future is now."
Right.
Really? You lived through the 60s. I feel like that's when that phrase was, when all this shit was coming. I feel like that's when that phrase really...
I feel like Seth grew up as an old white guy.
He was,
even in the 60s, he's probably like, no, Leave it to Beaver Day. You know what I mean? Like, he was never for that.
He's like Benjamin Buttoning, but like he started old and he's just staying old.
Exactly. Like, they invented chocolate milk. He's like, no, white milk better.
We already have
milk.
Why do we need to put that in milk?
Yeah, exactly. Seth was always a grumpy
He's
old
just an
white
old
dude.
curmudgeon-y. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because, he doesn't want those outsiders in his town. He doesn't want to
vote. He just wants to sit
there
and fucking grow old and do nothing.
He doesn't want colored posters.
No.
None of this fancy schmancy. Seth, goddammit.
Oh, my God.
And I just wrote down in the, when they're sitting in the barbershop or the salon, and Ideal Malloy is reading Girl Talk magazine.
I saw that. It was amazing.
It harkens back to when we had Apion to Leopard magazine.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I caught my eye, because like, boy, they just really, the best names for magazines.
Also, it was like so blatant. They were like, and
she was like holding it so you could specifically see the like everything.
Multiple times.
It was like deliberately held so you could see everything.
And we know Loretta's beauty shop is always one for gossip, and this episode really just exemplified all of that. So I think it was like very fitting that she was holding that, very telling gossip episode.
It was, because this was the Girl Talk episode.
Yeah.
Because when Anna Mae comes in.
Isn't that Anna Nicole Smith's real name?
Probably.
I think Anna
I don't know.
Mae.
But she comes in, and then the ladies are all... That's one of the... When we get a little bit of the slut-shaming from Eve, because when she leaves, they're like, ooh, Eve, you got some competition. It's like, okay. She's like...
And also, she kind of gives a look like, please, but maybe. Like, kind of looks a little bit...
Yeah, she's mostly like, I ain't worried.
Right.
I got this. I'm not worried.
Come on, honey. You don't know what I can do.
I'm Eve Simpson. How do you not know?
Hello. No, thank you.
We sit in this beauty salon like 8 hours a day. You know.
Did you see me in that floral getup? No? Okay.
No, and this little country bumpkin? Okay.
Yeah, she
got a pretty face? Okay.
No, when she came in, the redhead was kind of graying. I don't know if you noticed, but she had some gray hair, and now she's like, I need a touch-up. And then she came back in the next scene full red. So
Loretta did her a favor.
100. Loretta's voice was even like deeper this episode, I feel.
I love how, like, part of the clue that they got that this girl was not in there's like, I don't know, Jessica, but that woman, that's a New York dye job if I ever saw one. And it's like, it's a New York... That's how you know she's a fraud, because her hair is too nice to come from Casper, Wyoming.
Right. I love Loretta though.
She was all over this episode.
And her big like triangle or square or whatever earrings.
Mm-hmm. She was, and like her eyebrow game was like, it was simultaneously a mess, but simultaneously like on point. I don't know how she did it. Like from certain angles.
Loretta.
Exactly. From certain angles, you're like, how did hair and makeup miss this? But then you're like, no, I kind of get it. You know what? No, it's avant-garde in a way, and I'm loving it the more I'm seeing it.
It's like those that person's house that we saw later on. It was like that 80s kind of trying to be modern.
Oh my
where you're
God,
like,
that was so 80s.
I was like, I get it worked at the time, and I'm not trying to hate on it, but it was worse than all that gray and pink and everything else we saw previously.
And so many like just like abstract like
lines and circles and triangles.
Like, ooh, there's a yellow painty line over a pink triangle.
Who made that big in the 80s?
Whoever it is, I hope they're fucking dead.
I was about to say, who is to blame for this?
I hope they suffered before they died. Whoever it was, I hope it hurt when you died.
Oh my God, I can't.
And big fake green plants with like big flat leaves. Everywhere. Why are you buying these like these pink triangles only to hide it with giant fake plants?
And it was like everywhere. Artwork everywhere.
They were living in a jungle. They basically wanted to live in a jungle. It was the fucking rainforest.
Oh, amazing.
It was a plastic rainforest is where they were living.
It really was.
It was disgusting. And it was... But again, it's like, yeah, I've been to that house.
I feel like I've seen it before.
I grew up with family members who had that exact...
Like, I can appreciate that at the time. That was nice.
I definitely have family members who aspire, like, if, like, yeah, my aunts could have had this in... Oh, this episode aired December 17th, 1989. Oh. So we're on the cusp of a new decade.
On the cusp.
But if you went to any one of my aunts in 1989, like, for Christmas, we're going to make your house look like this, in a heartbeat.
Oh, my God,
there wouldn't be a moment's hesitation.
Yeah.
They would love it. Okay. So
enough about the fashion, I guess, for now.
Yeah, for now. I'm sure more will come up.
Yeah.
Oh, and while they're at the party, Seth, of all people, Seth, makes a fat joke about poor Mayor Booth. Did you catch it when they're...
What did he say?
He's over there, like the two, Toadface and Sam Booth were both at the party. And Jessica's like, oh, look over there, there's the mayoral candidates are pressed in the flesh. And Seth goes, oh, well, Mayor Booth has a little more flesh to press than it. It's like, Seth, honey.
Seth, you can't even jog.
I know you were pretending to jog this morning.
Exactly.
I know a 60-year-old woman wearing jeans and full makeup was, quote, jogging with you this morning, but I don't think you're going to be making fat jokes about a poor virgin, about a poor 45-year-old virgin.
He's just a sweet politician trying to do his thing. Maybe because
it's literally, he said it himself, it's literally all he has.
Maybe because Seth is like a doctor. He was talking about like when I was really, really young, and I wasn't big by any means, but I had this Russian nurse who told me like my percentile. She's like, you're like 95% chunkier than the rest of girls your age. And I was like, what? And then the actual doctor came in. She's like, no, you're fine. Like, it was so weird. I was going to get bulimia or something. But I was like, maybe because it's a doctor and he's worried about health. I don't know. But no, he's just probably an asshole. I don't know.
That's because I had my grandfather, I don't know what you'd call it. My stepmom's.
Someone in the family.
My stepmom's dad. I was just telling me, he's like, oh, you're as tall standing up as you are lying down. It's like, okay. I'm 7? I'm 7 years old. I'm 7 years old. Cool. Do I still carry that around? Do I remember it? Maybe.
Oh, yeah. Did this happen when I was whenever? And the doctor came and she's like, no, that's not how statistics work. You're fine. Because not even did she say, like, she said I was chunkier than half the other. I was like,
be like,
chunky?
Bitch, I'm going to send you back to the gulags.
Bitch, do you remember where you came from? Because I saw a Murder, She Wrote episode about this, and it does not seem fun.
Do you want to go back to the snowy Russian plains? Because I'll make that shit happen, bitch.
Sorry we're allowed to eat here, woman. Sorry, I'm a healthy, growing little girl.
Was she like Kate McKinnon's Russian character from Saturday Night Live?
Honestly, like worse, with worse fashion, too.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Never forget.
Let's see. Oh, and then Seth makes a joke to him about the mayor, about his zero growth plan. And that strikes in him. And he's like, oh, Seth, you're not going to vote for... And again, just the cacophony of bad accents. Because the mayor's went from... Like, he has that horrible, tries so hard accent. Mm-hmm. And then when his voice raises slightly, zero accent whatsoever.
No,
he can't maintain it at all.
Honestly, though, it's the cutest on me on Sam because... He's like a little verge. And I'm like, he's so cute. Like, he hasn't slept with a woman. He doesn't have illegitimate children. He's just trying to run for mayor. Mm-hmm. You do you. You have your accent. Okay.
And remember in the last episode when he had his little bulldog, was it Winston? His cute little bulldog.
Bully. I forgot about that. The best part when he dug through and found the witch.
Yes.
Old, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they had, I think he's on 8 episodes. He plays the mayor on 8 episodes. I think we've only seen 2.
Yeah, I think so too.
I hope we get to see the rest.
I hope we
but
see
that's
the
not
other
up
6.
to us. That's
Sorry,
up to you guys.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
Nudge, nudge.
Okay, and then we get to the thing where the Annie Mae, at the thing, reveals that she's,
Oh, Sam, are you going to retire and come back with little Susie and Bobby?
Me and the children. But the best part about that was, when she was doing that, was Eve's... I almost called her Ramona. Was Eve's face.
Exactly.
Because, you guys, if you don't watch The Real Housewives of New York, I don't know...
If you don't watch Real Housewives of anything...
Get your life.
You don't really understand us, so...
You need to watch, because, honestly... You will understand the show better if you watch.
If you just watch
Real Housewives,
and even if you just watch the last few episodes of Real Housewives of New York, when Luann's fiance cheated on her. When they found out, and by found out I mean when Bethany told everybody that her fiance was cheating on Luann in a public place, yes,
in the place like they go hang out in their spot.
Who Ramona had already dated a few times.
And Sonia. And when she found out that her friend is being cheated on in the most public, humiliating way possible.
On their engagement party on a boat.
Yes. When Ramona found this out, The grin, you couldn't wipe it off her face.
I think she jumped up and down.
No, she was literally next to the bed, and she jumped up and covered her mouth because she knew she was smiling way too big.
And then she was like, ha, because we saw smiles.
And then she ran into the bathroom, smiling the whole time.
Yeah.
Jumping and shaking. Like, she could not contain her excitement.
She was so happy.
She was so goddamn happy. She is the worst human being on earth.
Right. And Eve isn't the worst, but she took a page out of Ramona's book.
The shit-eating grin on her face, and it was so great because she's like going back and forth. She's just like, huh? This is great. And she's like watching a tennis match that she loved.
Honestly, if it wasn't so, like, a political thing and an affair and someone was crying, if, like, some random gossip happened, I'd be like, ah. Like, if something...
It really was. It was just like,
Okay. But, like, this was a little much. Like, I'll admit, like, I'm kind of a horrible person. Like, I'll eat my popcorn depending on the situation, but Eve was just classic. She's like, competition gone.
And she did it even again later in the episode. I can't remember exactly, but she was...
yeah.
Oh, I think that was like, because at first they learned she was cheating on, and then when she learned that there were kids involved too, that's when she's like, huh? Eve.
Classic Eve.
Classic Blood Rose Simpson.
And they made another comment about Eve and her. Oh, is when she was running for mayor when they said something about people. Oh, she would lose votes, and she said who would lose her vote? And she said anyone with husbands.
Yeah, she's already lost. Yeah, the women vote. The women with husbands.
I was like, oh.
And was it Eve who said the thing about the Annie Mae? And she's like, not unless her IQ is less than her bra size.
Oh my God.
What was that? I just wrote down that quote because I was like...
It was because Anna Mae or whatever had asked someone directions to the mayor's office.
Oh,
and
yes.
then Jessica overheard her. She's like, oh, she asked me for the directions. And she's like, oh, could you have misled her? And maybe directed her to the restaurant instead. With that creepy old man who's Amos's father.
Yeah, that creepy old dude who looked just like Amos.
And who stuck out his tongue when he was talking about a woman in like a weird pervy way. And I'm like...
And it made that open mouth sound, that...
Open mouth sound, yeah. No, Ben, no. Yeah, I blocked it out. But yeah, he did make that sound, you're right.
Oh, he definitely made that sound. Let's see, did we talk about... Eve saying women belong in the kitchen? I think it was part of a metaphor. But maybe not.
No,
I think it was a metaphor for the kitchen is the mayor's office.
I feel like you might be being kind
to
her.
Am I giving her too much credit?
You might be, but it's Eve, so it's okay. It was like, okay, so once the whole scandal came out with Sam, and okay, so it's like Sam and Toadface, but they don't want anything to change, but still these white people are like, can we vote for someone that has an illegitimate child? Maybe not, so we need someone else. Jessica was like, there has to be more qualified people. So then Eve runs, and she has like a little meeting in her thing, and I just remember her saying, women belong in the kitchen, right? Like, well, yeah. I should be...
Women are better in the kitchen, am I right?
Basically. Yeah.
It wasn't...
Maybe it's a metaphor, I don't know.
It wasn't a fully formed metaphor if it was.
Right. But it's Eve and like...
Stick to real estate, but...
It was a room full of women in the 80s, and like maybe they were okay with it at the time. Now we're like... This is a platform you're running on? Women in the kitchen?
Yeah. It's this episode is very much a product of its time, I feel like.
I rolled my eyes a lot in this episode.
A lot.
And it wasn't because like, oh, like we're about to bungle this investigation. It's because we're talking about women in the kitchen and skinheads and a slew of other things that made me feel just a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, this episode, more than I think any other we've ever watched, is not about the murder at all.
No.
Like, the murder was almost wedged in here because it's like...
I was like, murder. I forgot for a second.
Because it's
it
like,
really wasn't
the show's called Murder, She Wrote, someone has to die. But it was more about the big city folks coming in and the buying of politicians to try and sell, blah, blah. That's what the episode was about.
The, like, little city election and how it runs.
Yeah.
And, Sam hasn't been challenged for, like, 10... Like, okay, would Eric Garcetti not be challenged?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Come on.
But this was very much just like having fun around the small town. That's all it was.
It's a Cabot Cove episode, but I guess
it's just a total Cabot Cove. Yeah, you guys PS like thanks for recommending. Like, we only watch Cabot Cove episodes, I feel like.
I love it. And unless it's like Ireland or something else.
Oh, we gotta get back to Ireland
guys,
soon.
Real quick, are there any episodes that take place in London or France? Because I couldn't find any asking for a friend. Okay, thanks. Bye. No, but
let us know.
I feel like because they take place in Ireland and other places, and I feel like
she goes to Ireland more than once, so
and
like,
she
why
goes
not
to Russia,
England?
so why not?
And she goes to fucking Russia. They got B-roll from fucking Russia. They can't go to London.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like my
point.
research might be bad, so asking out.
That's what you guys are here for, to let us know. You're the experts.
My Google searches suck, so.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Speaking of our murder victim, it was a little, because we see from the murderer's perspective, going through the window, standing over her bed, and then you just think
very well lit, also, by the way.
Like, just like a bright blue light.
Yeah.
The moon is not that bright.
No.
But I feel like what they were going for. At first, I thought, like, oh, we're going to see this person go in here. Then we cut to commercial break, and it comes back like, oh, she's dead. What happened? And that's what it is. But instead, we just see the gun go off, which is like, oh, just going to shoot her in the head at close range. Like, don't put that in
her motel room.
That's the thing. It was super grim.
It was close range, and I've read enough true crime that I know what happens when your head gets shot, and like that person was just covered in things, and like, did no one hear it in the motel? I didn't see a silencer on that.
No, that was just a straight up revolver. That was very loud.
Yeah,
that would have woken up the whole motel. Like, that's why I felt like they were gonna like put a pillow over. Like, they found her dead. It looked like it was like strangulation or something, but. I feel like, I'm just going to shoot her right in the head. Not even put a pillow over the head to silence it.
And not to be spoiler alert, but like women don't typically use guns, so it's kind of...
And the woman, like, Holland Taylor is the killer.
Which, can we talk about for a second? Because I know who she is, and I never know anyone from Murder, She Wrote, because she's a slutty mom on 2.5 Men.
I think she won Emmy for that role too. As well she should have. She was fantastic.
She was amazing in that role. Also, who she's dating.
Do you have a guess?
It's because I got it later on. She's a lesbian and she's dating Sarah Paulson?
Yeah.
Fuck. No, because
there's like a 30-year age difference.
Yeah. And also, no, I'm not to judge, obviously, like, I'll turn lesbian with some tequila, but, like, I didn't realize either of them were lesbians. And
I didn't either.
That's something you kind of know in Hollywood, and it wasn't until she was giving her, Sarah Paulson was giving her Emmy speech, right?
Yeah, she mentioned
She's like, I love you so much, and then, what's her name? Holland Taylor? Yeah, she was live tweeting the entire thing, how she couldn't be there, but she loved her, and then they were posting all these pictures, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, like, when my boyfriend told me that, I was like, where's the thing? Like, Marcia Clark? The woman who played Marcia Clark.
Right. Okay.
The one who's literally 30 years. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I'm not hating on it. I kind of actually love it, but it's just very... It was surprising.
It's not, because, like, a 30-year age difference is huge. Like, Erica Jane, Erica Girardi, I'll give her shit all day long for her marriage.
Right. I was about to say, are you about to say something nice? Because, Ben, I'm going to call you the fuck out for this. Okay.
I'll call, like, but I feel like they're on equal footing, so it's not like one is using the other. I feel like their status is very equal. It's very well, it fits well.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like once you get to a certain age, and if you... I mean, I don't care what your footing is, whether or not you're equal or not, Ben. But I feel like that, like, age doesn't matter. Like, if I'm 20 and I'm dating... No, sorry. If I'm 40 and dating a 20-year-old... yeah, that's weird. But, like, if you're 60 dating an 80-year-old, maybe not so much.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. Corinne, we already talked about her...
Navajo.
Her Navajo... dangly giant statement necklace.
It was like a matching necklace with earrings equal
giant
size.
Earrings.
Just beaded, like literally straight up Navajo.
Her earlobes must be so gross today because those earrings.
So smelly and saggy.
So smelly and saggy.
So gross.
That's disgusting.
It really.
But she came in. She had the weirdest accent of the whole. It was vaguely Eastern European, but then it wandered into British, and then...
And it just wasn't charming because it was her. Like, Sam, I'll take it. You,
It was
Get
her.
the fuck out
yeah.
of this cultural appropriation. You're appropriating Maine at this point. Get out of here. No.
Yeah, and then she's like, and she started, like, literally the third act of this episode was a game of telephone.
Also, why was she... Oh, I was like, why was she even in this? But I realized she started the telephone chain.
Because, Seth sent something and Jessica's like, well, how the fuck do you know that?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I have my ways. And then Corinne walks out and she's like, hey, when do I get to live from here now? With her weird whatever it was accent. And then they basically played the game of telephone where, like, okay, Corinne heard it from Ideal, but Ideal heard it from Loretta, but Loretta heard it from blah. And literally, it's not like, oh, we heard, like, it's not like Metzger's like, and then I had to go this place. Like, no, we play this game of telephone with the sheriff.
And also, like, in Loretta's, in the beauty shop, you don't have to go far.
That's the thing, like, when you heard, like, oh, it was a gossip chain, don't stop, go right to the source.
Just go to Loretta's.
You go to the head of the snake.
But I liked it because they were all there. It's like, okay, woman in the chair, then she points to Loretta. Loretta's doing, someone, and it was just all in there. They made it easy. They're always there. Come on.
And then I loved it. And it gets back to, and then the game of telephone ends with Ideal Malloy, our favorite. And she's like, and they're like, and Jessica's like, well, why didn't you tell us that you were the one who saw him? She's like, oh, Jessica, I didn't want you to think I was a gossip. So,
like, honey,
so
I
great.
love you.
Oh, Ideal. You are Ideal.
You are so ideal.
You are our Ideal. I loved it.
She was born, they're like, this is an ideal situation.
Yeah. I'm going to make you sad right now. Because I'm going to tell you that Ideal Malloy
is dead.
And Loretta, well, they're both dead now.
I don't like knowing all of them are dead. I don't like watching. No.
They lived nice, full lives. They were very happy. But this, Loretta and Ideal, this was their last acting roles, both of them. They both retired after this episode of Murder, She Wrote. No, and they both lived, like, Ruth Roman, who played Loretta, lived 10 years after this.
Okay.
The woman who played Ideal just died, like, a couple of years ago. So
okay, well, I'm just hoping that this was by their choice, and they're like, let me go out on a bang, because it makes me so sad that Loretta gave such a great performance, and if she tried again...
That's like, no, I hope I'm telling myself it was by choice.
Yeah.
And because it was so sweet, because the last time we see Loretta when she's in her car, she's like, she waves and she says bye-bye, and I was like,
no.
I didn't want to tell you, but I was like, oh my God, my heart is melting. It was the sweet, because it was her saying goodbye to us, and it was just...
Ben, honestly, I've had 2 drinks, and I'm really emotional, and I might honestly cry, because I love Loretta.
It was...
I mean, Ideal is fine, but, like, Loretta has a special place in my heart.
Exactly. And she's like, bye-bye. And she drove off, and I was just like, oh my God.
Wait, so we're 6 seasons without Loretta?
Yeah. This is like, we get Eve comes back. Our girl Eve is back.
Well, Eve is, yeah.
She's a constant. But Loretta's ladies, as we know them, this was
that's
the
why
end.
you said it was the end of the thing.
This is the final this completes the trilogy of Loretta's ladies. This is the last one.
Why did they not get a spinoff and Amos did?
The Loretta's ladies would be the greatest goddamn spinoff. It would be so much fun.
Yeah.
Imagine watching this every week.
Yes, I could.
I absolutely would. You would, like, cut it, like, turn it into a half hour. It's like, it's not like laugh out loud, haha funny, but it's so charming
and it's enjoyable.
There's no way you wouldn't watch this. Like, if you had, like, a lead in of Loretta's ladies into Murder, She Wrote, I'm watching that combination every week.
Okay, well, you maybe could have told me this at the end.
I should have told you that at the end, but it's like, because I really
I apologize for the rest of this podcast.
I really brought it down.
Okay.
But remember how Corinne looks like Rachel Dratch?
Yes, I was trying to put a face, like, I was like, she looks like someone on SNL, and I can't put, okay.
And I do like how, when they were playing that game of telephone, Jessica's with them. I love the excuse they came up with, because they started with Ideal Malloy. And Metzger's basically like, she is, like, kind of misappropriating police time. Like, she's like, calling to get the cat out of the tree and stuff when there's no problem. She's basically putting the moves on the man she knows who's married.
No, she's like, and then we show up and the cat's fine and sitting in her windowsill, and she's just basically...
And she's just there like, yeah, you want some pie? You want some cherry pie?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do like, this is one of my last notes, when they go confront Vernon? They go confront the guy who wants to develop the town, who's like, yeah, I was paying her off to say this stuff.
Like kind of a weird face, but not as weird as Toad Guy, but like kind of something, like your eyes are...
There's something, and it's not even just his weird
No, it's like
mustache.
Your eyes are kind of far apart, but like not that far apart. You look happy, but like a happy
He
Toad,
does have,
like a Disneyland Toad.
He totally has like bright, happy eyes.
Yeah.
And he was like... But there was something weird about his face.
Right.
Yeah, I can't put my finger on it. What is it? I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't really want to put my finger on it.
I definitely don't want to put my finger on it.
Exactly, just not quite sure.
So they find out, like, he's been, like, funding all this, or, like, doing it on behalf of whatever company.
Honestly, we don't care about the
we
details.
weren't paying attention to that. Loretta's Ladies, that's what we were paying for.
He was paying for anime to go in there and
frankly,
stir up a sex scandal.
And frankly, the second she showed up on the scene is like, oh yeah, Sammy's my boy. We're like, okay, she's a paid plant, and they're also funding the other mayor guy with the colored pose. Like this you saw coming a month, but this episode was not about the mystery and the intrigue. That's not what this episode was about. It wasn't even about
the murder, so yeah.
So we didn't care. Whatever.
Honestly, I kind of feel bad that she got like talked into doing this because she was fucking some guy and then ended up bullet in the head.
Oh, how about that? He's like, yeah, I decided to use her because 10 years ago I was having an affair with her. So definitely bring her back into your life.
Yeah, also when she was a child. I mean, Ben thought she was younger than she was.
Oh yeah, I was having an affair with her 10 years ago. That would make her 14, sir. That would make her 14, you perv.
Okay, that was in the 70s, free love, but no,
I mean, if you would ask me, like, how old, because usually even in the 80s, ladies look older, and, like, hot 80s older. Ladies look 10 years older. Yeah. She legit looked 24, and that's, like, 80s 24. So she's, like, probably, like, 21.
No,
she's
honestly,
like a baby.
To me, she looked like she was in her 30s.
Was it just the frumpy outfits they put her in? I don't know.
It was her gray hair when she walked into Loretta's. And, like, I don't know. But maybe it's the 80s vibe. Maybe she just looks like 30, so she really looked 20. So then 10 years ago, she would have been 10.
Okay. The math, again, I don't like this math. It doesn't work out.
It doesn't seem right, and maybe that's why we can't put our finger on, like, a nice Toad face. It's because he's low-key a pedophile.
Because he's, yeah.
We're like, wonder what it is. Yeah, creeper vibes.
Mm-hmm. But I like how, at the end of the episode, we find all that out, and then it's like, oh, he didn't do it because he likes Cabot Cove. He legitimately likes Cabot Cove.
He likes the yellow stoplight all the time.
Yeah, he wants to develop it, but he legitimately likes it. He's like the big city people who move in, and like, oh, and then more big city. Like, he legitimately loves it. Anyway.
Right.
And then the wife comes in, who this whole episode has been like hating Cabot Cove, loves the big city life, all this stuff. And we're like, okay, so she's actually the murderer.
Of course. Ben guessed it.
Like,
basically.
Like a minute before she confessed.
Yeah, you basically
Once we realized, like, oh, he didn't actually kill her. He paid her off and all that stuff. We were right about that.
Right.
But
we're like, okay, then it has to be the wife.
It's the wife. It's like, oh, he was banging her. It's yet another episode where the poor wife who's being fucked over by this awful husband, she's the one who goes and kills the other woman that's also getting fucked over by this guy.
Dude, it's
that
women on women
crime.
crime.
A lot on this show. But she goes in there, literally, and keeping in mind, we just got through this game of telephone where it was established firmly that news travels so fast in this town and everybody knows everybody's business.
Right.
And then they're like, and then this woman, Holland Taylor's like, how was I supposed to know that this Ann Mitchell was in town? And then JB's like, no one knew her name was Ann Mitchell. It's like, really, JB? Because I'm pretty sure you just established everybody knows everything about this woman.
And also, she had to cut off the fucking sheriff. She's like, wait a second. She's like, and I like to vote this way. It's like, okay, dude, stop bringing your politics into this.
I don't think you need to mansplain your vote to Holland Taylor anymore.
Yeah, we got it.
She's fine. She's fine.
Wait, no. And how do you know the name? And it's like,
but no one knew. And then she was like, I must have heard it around town. Perfectly legitimate answer.
Right.
P.S. By the way, that is a perfectly legitimate excuse, and you can't tell her she's wrong. Except
it's Jessica, and she'll put the pressure on, and she's like, but no one did. And she goes, oh, must have heard it from my husband. Oh, and, like, Jessica just knows. Not that it's not legitimate, but,
That's the thing. It's like, oh, when I saw her, because I live in this I'm in this town too, this tiny town. I saw her, and I knew immediately that was Ann Mitchell, the little 12-year-old hussy my husband was having an affair with 10 years ago.
Exactly. Also, she
of course I can know her name.
But it's like when criminals try and, insert themselves into the investigation, she went in there talking about her husband, and if she would have stayed out of it, they wouldn't have known.
Yeah, if she would have stayed home and been like, let that cheating son of a bitch spend the night in jail. I don't give a shit.
I don't care. That's why I killed her to begin with, because of you, asshole.
Yeah, let him sit in this. They don't have anything on him. He didn't actually do it. They can't. There's no. He'll be fine.
Nothing.
Once they look into it, he'll be released. But, if he spends a couple nights in the clink, fine.
And even if not, because Jessica was like, or the sheriff, they'll be able, not many Jaguars are being driven in Cabot Cove. She's like, husband borrowed my car. Like, if you're so mad about him cheating, let him go, let him rot for it.
That's the thing. Like, she did not need to be caught. And she had, like, perfectly reasonable alibis for everything.
Yeah.
So, this was... You know what? She is, like, not the smartest murderer we've had.
Clearly not, but...
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Let's see. And she, at the end of the episode, when we're learning the results, that were, like, put into a coffee can and handed to someone's wife.
Don't remind me about Loretta.
Poor Loretta. But then they're like... And she's like, oh, how many votes did Eve get? It's like, oh, she got 6 votes. And Seth's line... He is such a catty gay bitch. Oh my god.
He really
is. He is such a catty little queen. This episode cemented for me. He's
gay.
He's her gay BFF.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. Like, he is such a catty little queen.
That's why Jessica feels comfortable with him being around all the time. Because if it was a straight dude, she'd be worried about, am I leading him on? Is he... Like, it's worrisome. Okay?
Yeah, but he's just like... He's wearing an apron. He's in her kitchen.
He bakes cakes.
Just gossiping it up about the town. Like, yeah, he's just...
Right.
He's just an old gay queen. Mm-hmm. But he says, 6 votes. I didn't know she had 5 friends.
It's like,
Drop the mic, Seth Haslett.
Honey,
Drop
yes.
the mic.
Oh my god.
That was fantastic. So, gay BFF Seth.
Seth, that was a liner.
Let's see. Let's get any more trivia for this episode. Orson Bean, who played Ebenezer.
Okay.
He looked different. Like, if you'd seen him, like, today.
No, he did kind of look familiar to me.
Super familiar. He's been on everything. He's, like, he's really a good comedic actor.
Okay.
I know him best from, he was on an episode of Will and Grace, where he played Will's old professor that they went to go visit.
Okay, I used to watch Will and Grace a lot, but I'm not enough to know.
He's the old gay professor. Oh, and his friend, he was living, basically it was like the future version of Will and Grace, where he was the old gay man who never got married, and she was the old, like, fruit fly who never got married. And it was the woman from Twin Peaks. Oh my god, I can't remember. Lori. Oh my god, I can't believe
I don't know, but you're a Twin Peaks person,
and I'm ashamed of myself.
It's okay. It's pressure right now.
It's something Piper Laurie. I think Piper Laurie.
Oh, that sounds right.
And Piper Laurie. And she's like a redhead, and they're just shouting at one another. And legit, those two, Piper Laurie and Orson Bean, were
amazing,
fucking hilarious together.
Oh, God.
So that's what I know him from. But he was also on 2.5 Men with Holland Taylor.
Okay, yeah, I watched both of those shows, but again, not enough to know
that guy.
characters.
He's been that dude. You look at his IMDb. He has been on.
He looked very familiar.
That's why I only wrote down Will and Grace, because it's like I'm not going to list everything he's been on, because he's been on everything.
No.
Let's see. Lee Purcell, who played Annie Mae.
Annie Mae.
She was on 3 other episodes of Murder, She Wrote, playing 3 different characters.
Of course. They need redheads. There's not that many. They have to recycle them.
They got to recycle them redheads. And John Considine, who played Horton Thayer, was in 2 other eps, and he had equally great names in those episodes.
Wait, who was he in this one?
Horton Thayer. I think he's Weird Face Guy.
Oh, makes
right?
sense. Yeah,
I think that's Weird Face Guy. That's got to be. So Weird Face Guy in another episode is named Harry Freelander, which is I want my last name to be Freelander, and Porter Finley III. Why have they added the third?
No.
Porter Finley III.
I can't. Have we seen any of his episodes before?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I feel like I would be remembering a Harry Freelander.
That's what I was about to say.
Or a Porter Finley the goddamn third.
Okay.
Okay. And on a personal note, Josie, Emily's mom, our swag winner, got her gifties. And she even has a VHS player so she can watch the Angie Lansbury. So it was meant to be. It was serendipity. So if you have not seen the picture of her with all her goodies, go on our Instagram.
It literally looks fake because it's so perfect.
It literally does look like it's staged and fake. Like, you went to central casting and got the perfect person
to get the perfect
to get the perfect pictures,
yeah.
and it's pretty perfect. So
check it out. Love it. Emily's mom, we love you.
We love you.
And Emily, obviously.
It's so great. So again, guys, if you want to see that picture, or if you want to send us your recommendations, thoughts, questions, concerns, queries, or regards, go to @MurderWeSpoke on Twitter and Instagram, Murder We Spoke on Facebook, or you can email us at murderwespoke@gmail.com. I always hate that because, like, we sound super desperate. Like, there's so many ways you guys talk to us.
No,
please.
Because we're Mills,
but,
and honestly, that's what we do.
Everything.
I'm super. Can we get a Snapchat?
If it's on you, I'm not. I don't do.
Wait, I'm having the best
older,
idea right now.
I'm the older end of the Mills. I'm too. Snapchat does not.
Does anyone want a Snapchat? Because I'll do it. That's like puppy face of everything on the episode.
If you just want, oh my god, that's all it would be.
Literally puppy face, deer face, whatever the cutest little filter is.
Puppy face like Loretta, deer face Ideal Malloy.
Oh.
Okay, Mill, do it. Make it happen.
I'm going to do it. We're going to have a Snapchat,
We're going to get a Murder We Spoke Snapchat.
We'll get it together.
Whatever that means. So,
shut up.
I don't know what that means.
I got Ben kind of on it. And
I send
love
a
every
snap
time
a
I
week.
get like a Snapchat from Ben, I'm like, yes, I get so excited.
I send one a week and I check it less than that. I never, like, it takes forever from, like, I open it up.
Ben checks it and he's like 500 seconds for Marissa. I'm like,
basically.
Okay, it was meant for the moment, Ben, but this is embarrassing.
I'm not turning on the notifications for Snapchat.
For me.
You're literally the only one that sends them,
Thank
so
you.
it is kind of a personal insult.
So it kind of got personal.
It is a personal insult. All right.
This is awkward. We're ending
This is
okay,
guys. All right. Hope you enjoyed our final episode. Snapchat
Just like Loretta. Bye, guys.
Oh. Boy, that's grim. Okay. Let's see. Also, if you want a heads up about the episode that we're going to cover next, follow us because we let you know what episode we're going to cover
so we
next.
Can watch it together.
Mm-hmm. And thanks, as always, to Devin Kokersberger for providing us our theme song.
Love.
Theme songs.
True.
Yes,
beats.
He's amazing. Our beats. And we are still planning on having a Chipotle party. And we have now tentatively scheduled it for late January or early February.
Yes.
So if you guys are in LA or are going to be in LA, let us know when works best for you. And we're going to try and accommodate the most people that will actually want to come to a stranger's house, eat free burritos, and watch Murder, She Wrote.
Honestly,
it's already a terrible idea, and I regret it. So
no, it honestly sounds amazing to me, and we can play Murder, She Wrote.
We'll finally get some use
bingo,
out of that goddamn board game, too.
The board game, like, it'll be fun if you guys haven't had Chipotle, but we need
And whoever wins the board game, you can take it home. How about that?
Exactly, but we also need to plan it to, like, let Chipotle know. So
yeah, so we gotta let them know, but that's why it's like late Jan, early Feb.
Come on.
Let us know, and we're gonna schedule it, and then early next in 2017, we're gonna let you guys know exactly when, and hopefully we'll see a couple of you there.
Like, if you need to fly from London, maybe I think February is a cheap time to fly.
It's probably a cheap time to fly.
I think it is.
Come out on Groundhog's
February
Day.
Probably kind of sucks in cold places. Here, it'd probably be like 60s, 70s.
Yeah, it's gonna be gorgeous here.
Fahrenheit, guys, obviously.
All right, and there are 2 ways to help the show. Number 1, you can leave us a lovely review on iTunes or Stitcher. Just like, and I hope we haven't read this one, just like MS New Judy did. Have I read hers? I mean, she's
Read
like,
the review
she's
and I'll
obviously
let you
nice.
know.
Okay, yeah, you would remember. I thought I was the only one till now. I thought I was the only one my age who loved Murder, She Wrote, but I was totally wrong. I've been obsessed with the show for forever, and it's so much fun after watching all 12 seasons to listen and hear people talk about it through fresh eyes and ears. How did I not think of this first? You guys rock.
We love you.
Amazing. So,
Love everyone.
And guys, remember, if you do leave us a nice review, send us a screenshot of your review along with your address, and we will send you a little thank you.
It might be showing up at your doorstep. Maybe.
Marissa's a little thank you.
Hi guys, be my friend. Hi.
We have leftover burritos. Hi.
You didn't show up, but figured you might be hungry.
We're just going to go door to door delivering burritos to people who listen to the show. Is that weird? No.
Nope.
That's cool.
Not at all.
And also, you can head over to our redbubble.com store, which is linked in the episode. We have new designs all the time. And as you know, when we have guests on, we play for charity. So you can tell yourself that your purchase is going to help charity because, frankly, it is actually. So.
And there's like some other designs that may be a little more political, and since this is an election episode, I don't really care about who I find. So if you want something, a lot of people have bought them, and they're soup's cute.
It's going good.
It's going good. So I'm not going to tell you which candidate. Maybe they're more geared towards nasty women, or
Actually, if you guys don't want to hear me get preachy, we'll say goodbye now. We'll part as friends, and you'll come back next week. But I just wanted to read something from Garrison Keillor from A Prairie Home Companion in lieu of playing a game, since this is our election special.
We're serious about this one, guys.
So you guys know.
No games here.
No games. This is not...
This is the future of the United States of America. No big deal.
No bad accents are coming. No. This is no trivia games. I'm just going to read from Garrison Keillor to close out this election special episode.
Election special.
Ready? Okay. Politics didn't appeal to me back in my youth. The rhetoric, ask not what your country can do for you, was so wooden compared to so we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. So I walked dark rainy streets, imagining the great novel I wouldn't write, and I was still trying to be cool and indifferent well into my 30s, when other people were making a difference in the world. Hillary didn't have a prolonged adolescence, and fiction was not her ambition. She doesn't do dreaminess. What some people see as a relentless quest for power strikes me as the good habits of a serious Methodist. Be steady. Don't give up. It's not about you. Work, for the night is coming. The woman who does not conceal her own intelligence is a fine American tradition, going back to Anne Bradstreet and Harriet Beecher Stowe and my ancestor Prudence Crandall. But none has been subjected to the steady hectoring that Mrs. Clinton has. She's the first major party nominee to be pictured in prison stripes by the opposition. She is the first cabinet officer ever to be held personally responsible for her own email server, something ordinarily delegated to anonymous nerds in IT. The fact that terrorists attacked the American compound in Libya under cover of darkness, when Secretary Clinton presumably got some sleep, has been held against her, as if she was personally in command of the defense of the compound, a walkie-talkie in her hand, calling in airstrikes. Extremism has poked its head into the mainstream, aided by the internet. Back in the day, you would occasionally see cranks on the street corner handing out mimeographed handbills arguing that FDR was responsible for Pearl Harbor, but you saw their bad haircuts, the bitterness in their eyes, and you turned away. Now they're in your computer, whispering that the economy is on the verge of collapse, and that for a few bucks they'll tell you how to protect your savings. But lacking clear evidence, we proceed forward. We don't operate on the basis of lurid conjecture. Someday, historians will get this right and look back at the steady pitter-patter of scandals that turned out to be nothing, nada, zero, and ixnay, and will conclude that almost a century after women's suffrage, almost 50 years after Nixon signed Title IX into law, a woman was required to run for office wearing concrete shoes. Check back 50 years from now, and if I'm wrong, go ahead and dance on my grave.
Oh, that was so good.
Thank you, Garrison Keillor.
Thank you, Benjamin, for your reading.
All right, guys, go out and vote.
Please.
And we'll see you next week, or next month.
And yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.